by asking, what was it that attracted you to this movie, Perrier?
It was the script, really. It was the words on the page. I'd made a film that Mark Rowe wrote called Intermission a few years ago, and I love his writing. And so he talked to me about this back then, and then the script arrived, and I was very taken with it. It was so dark and funny and weird, and then I knew that that Ian would be able to get a brilliant cast together. So, and it came together really, really quickly in the end.
And yourself?
Yeah, same as that. The words of the page, they just jump out. And I liked his work anyway. I mean, I hadn't worked with on any of the Mark Rowe stuff, but it. You just know when stuff is well constructed and well put together. So yeah, it was fun. The character was kind of a blast. So I said I wanted to get in touch with my psycho self again. And so that I didn't know how the time scale was going to work out. That was the only problem, and it worked out really well.
And just because you mentioned Intermission there, obviously there's been a lot of films recently in Ireland that have concentrated in Dublin and the urban space that is Dublin. Kisses, for example, and Intermission and films like that. What is it that you think that makes Dublin work as a kind of urban space on film?
Well, I think it's the movement has been for cities to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So like millions upon millions of people are living in cities, and so therefore you're talking. It is the universal language. Before, I think even the rural was what might have been called the ordinary. I think now suburbia is the norm. And it's something that's been happening in film and in plays. I remember doing with The Passion Machine, like with Paul Mercier and Roddy Doyle and people like that. He was concentrating on the suburban reality that was neither the cosmopolitan city centre or out in the mushy, luscious green kind of hills of wherever. So I think it's not just Dublin. In fact, a lot of this movie was shot in London. But I think that sort of area that's just in where most people actually lives, and then you go down the back lanes where not everybody chooses to go at night, and you have a very interesting kind of a gloomy, slightly dangerous place.
And this is your fourth or fifth film working together, I think, at this stage. You obviously had 28 Days Later and Breakfast on Pluto. Does it get easier working together, or how does it differ?
Jeez, I mean, it just seems to get worse every time.
It does, yeah. It's got to be the last time.
I know. At least the time before, like the Breakfast on Pluto, I was kind of in a very large suit. I actually didn't have to look at him very much. I know, it's been great, and hopefully we'll do it again, very soon. It was great, and actually just working with the whole clatter of them in this film, Cunningham and all the rest of them, you just kind of felt, it's the kind of stuff I want to do. That's basically
working with Jim, how was that?
Great. I'd worked with him before very briefly, but we didn't have much together on screen in Gangs in New York, and he's just superb. He's got fantastic comic timing. We were just talking about it earlier, but it's also he's got a kind of a humanity. He just appears, and immediately your heart is broken for him for some reason. Yeah. He just communicates such humanity. I think people empathise with him immediately.
Did you have tips for him for the Irish accent that he was coming up with?
Yeah, Cillian told him that nobody talks like that.
Yeah. Nobody uses those words really in Dublin. It's quite heightened. But no, it's a beautiful performance he gives in it, and as Brendan says, you can't help but just adore him, even though my character is so intensely irritated by him, but yet you can see that there's a love there between the two of them. And that's another great thing about the film, like it addresses that father-son, that complex relationship the father and sons have, and particularly this one where it's been estranged and kind of fractured, and then they, it reconciles and resolves towards the end of the film in a nice, sad way.
And just to talk about someone else that was on screen with you a lot, the dogs. How was that? Like, you have to be an animal lover, obviously, to deal with them.
I think you should really ask the dogs. It's the dogs I felt sorry for. They were great. They were very good. They got knackered at about 3 o'clock in the morning. That was the only problem with them. Just wanted to lie down and had enough of showbiz. Yeah. But no, they were brilliant. They were great savages.
Yeah. And you yourself, you've had a very good year. You've had the Emmy win, obviously, and then the nomination for Secret Life of Kells. Was that a surprise to you at all, or were you very happy with that?
I was very surprised about. I was very surprised when I heard The Secret of Kells, because not because I was surprised, because the nature of the work, the quality of the work is such that, of course, I didn't. But it was one of those, I'd completely lost sight of it. I wasn't even thinking about it. And next thing, I got this text, and I was absolutely over the moon about that, I have to say. And I think it just shows you, like, it gets such bad press, you know, and all the rest of it. The Oscars, and there's so much, you know, schmaltz and rubbish and politics and everything that people talk about. But actually, you know, over there is a real kind of conscientious search for good stuff. And the fact that they found it and that they brought it in to get an Academy Award or nomination in animation, which is so labour intensive, so expensive, and needs such kind of ambition to make happen. I just thought it was absolutely brilliant achievement. I can't, really proud of them, and really proud of the fact that the Academy went and saw it and took it and brought it over there and showcased it, you know. So yeah, it's been a great year that way.
And next up is your directorial debut, I believe.
Hope so, yeah, hope so.
How's that coming along now?
I'm trying to, if I can lose Cillian out of the film, I think we might have a chance of making it. Yeah.
You've got a big cast for that, now who else is it?
Yeah, Colin Farrell and Gabriel Byrne and a whole crowd of people, like Damon Morrissey's and all that. We did a table reading about 3 years ago. It's that long ago now, when we were just trying to, you know, developing the script, and there were 4 generations of Irish actors at the table, and it was one of the best days I ever spent. Quite nerve-wracking up to a point, but then fantastically enjoyable. So if we can get that actually working on a set, I'll be over the moon.
And Cillian, what's next for you?
I have this film called Inception that comes out in July. Just kind of reading stuff now and seeing what lies around the corner, really.
Can you give us any spoilers about Inception?
No, I couldn't possibly. No, it'll be worth the wait, I think, and it'll be worth not really knowing, I think, because it should be quite special, I hope, anyway.
Perfect. Okay, that's everything I have for you guys. Thanks
Great.
very much.
Thanks.
Cheers.